Well, hello, my friends, and welcome to On the Tube with Ely. I am your host, Ely, and I'm so happy that you could join me today for another show, another episode. Well, I just want to say first, I always have to put this out here because, um, powers to be get upset when you give information and they think that you are um, advising people, and which for them goes against the grain because I might say something that's really relevant to your health that may be in contrast to what they have said. So I just want to put this out here that this is strictly for information, and for you to take the information and research it for yourself, and see what you come up with. But I try to do the research before I give you the information so that I know what I'm talking about, so that I don't just be throwing stuff against the wall, so to speak. Okay, so today, with that being said, we're going to talk about the immune system. Yes, the immune system. Okay, so shall we get started? Okay. So inside our bodies is an amazing protection mechanism. And that mechanism is called the immune system. And I'm sure you've heard of it, but you might not have known what all it does or what it entails. But anyway, it's designed to defend you against millions of bacteria, microbes, and viruses, toxins, and parasites, that would love to invade your body and make their homes there. They had this little cartoon that used to come on, and what was it called? It was something Jones. I, I almost said it, but anyway, he was like a guard, and he lived inside of a body, and they had all these germs that had different functions, and so I almost said Jeremiah, but I don't think that, whatever his name was. Anyway, him and his crew their job was to fight the bad guys, which was the bad bacteria and the viruses and stuff. It was a pretty interesting show. Even though it was a cartoon, it still was very interesting because it gave a lot of good information as far as to help you fight germs, and bacteria and stuff. So anyway, moving along, now understand the power of the immune system. All that you have to do is look at what happens to anything once it dies. Okay, I know it sounds gross, but it does show you something very important about your immune system. We need it, otherwise we die. Okay, so when something dies, its immune system, along with everything else, of course, shuts down. So, boom, no life left. So in a matter of hours, the body is invaded, by all sorts of bacteria and microbes and parasites, and none of these things are able to get in when your immune system is working and working good. And that's awesome, don't you think? So that we have something to fight for us. God designed it that way, so to our immune system, so that we could fight off all these diseases and different things. And so when something happens, it's because our immune system has either broken down or gotten weak somewhere, or the wall got weak where the bad guys were able to break in a little bit and try and come in, to make us sick. Okay, so but the moment our immune system stops, of course, you know, that door is wide open. Like I just said, the door is wide open for all these bad things to come in, you know. But once you die, it only takes a few weeks for these organisms to completely dismantle our bodies and carry it away. Okay, until all that's left, you know, is a skeleton. Yeah, a skeleton. So obviously, your immune system, you know, is doing something amazing to keep all of that dismantling from happening when you're alive. Isn't that awesome? I think it is. Yes. So your immune system, it works around the clock. It works around the clock in thousands of different ways, you know, but it does its work largely unnoticed. In other words, it's silently in there doing, you know. You don't know it's doing it, and I don't know it's doing it, but it's doing it. Because if it wasn't doing it, then that's when we get sick and get diseased and die. Okay, so that's one way we know it's doing it. Well, one thing that causes us to really notice our immune system is when it fails for some reason. I know my immune system failed for some reason, and cancer came in. I don't know exactly why. I mean, I might have been not eating properly, or I know I wasn't taking any vitamins. That much I know. I wasn't taking vitamins, you know, like I am now. And so I could have possibly allowed my immune system to get weak, and you know, cancer came in. So we also notice it when it does something that has a side effect, and we can see it or feel it, you know. So, okay, I'm gonna give you a couple of examples of side effects, or when we can see or feel something. Okay, well, when we get a cut, all sorts of bacteria and viruses enter our body through that break, you know, in the skin. So when you get a splinter, you know, you also have the sliver of wood as a foreign object inside your body. Okay, so your immune system responds and eliminates the invaders while the skin heals itself, and it seals the puncture or the wound, you know. It seals it up so that nothing can get in. I know you've probably seen where you had a little puncture or a cut or something, and it looks like it's gelled over. That's because the immune system has, you know, come in and started its job to not let anything else in, so it starts to gel even before the skin starts to, you know, recover that area. So the immune system, you know, it responds by and it eliminates the invaders, you know, like I said, while the skin is healing itself. So in rare cases, though, the immune system misses something, and when it misses something, and then and the cut may get infected. So when you get an infection, that's will let you know that your immune system is not working properly, you know, or the door is wide open somewhere, you know, because if your immune system was working properly, you would not have gotten an infection, you know, because it would have kicked it out. So it gets inflamed and it will often, you know, fill up with pus or inflammation. And pus, both inflammation and pus are both side effects of the immune system doing its job, you know. So when a mosquito bites you, you get a red itchy bump. Oh, I hate mosquitoes. And that too is that's a visible sign of your immune system at work. Yeah, the bump is, you know, because um, the immune system is trying to shut that poison back out. So, you know, it turns into a bump. And so each day, well, let me finish that thought. It turns into a bump. So, um, but you don't get sick, you know, or anything like that. You don't get feverish and this and that. That's because your immune system, baby, is working. It's working. Okay. So, you know, I've been trying to work on my lighting. So you all forgive me if the lighting is not just right. I'm still working on it to try and correct it. The direct sunlight behind me sometimes can be crucial, and the lighting will be horrible. But anyway, so back to the immune system. Well, each day we inhale thousands of germs and bacteria and viruses. We inhale this into our bodies, you know, and because they just floating around in the air, you know. It's always stuff floating around in the air. So your immune system, it deals with all of them without a problem because that's its job, you know. So occasionally a germ will get past the immune system and you catch a cold. You know how, say, well, I won't, I almost said when a alien sneaks across the border without getting caught, but I know that may be a bad example, but it's kind of like that, you know. This germ sneaks past the guards, you know, and gets into your system, and bam, you got a cold, you know. So I know that's kind of funny. So and you have a cold, and you get the flu, or worse, you might get pneumonia. You know, that's that germ has gotten in there and the immune system didn't catch it. And a cold or flu is a very visible sign, you know, that the immune system failed to stop the germ. Okay, didn't catch it, it snuck past it. Okay, so the fact that you get over the cold or the flu is a visible sign that your immune system was able to eliminate it. It caught it, you know. It's like the guards, they knew something was in there, so they seeped it out, you know, and they captured it and they put it in prison or threw it out, you know. So anyway, but so, you know, the immune system, it was able to eliminate the invader, you know, after learning about it. So if your immune system did nothing, then, you know, you would never get over a cold. You would never get over the flu. You would never get over pneumonia. You probably would die, you know. So thank God we have this immune system. Isn't the immune system awesome? So anyway, each day, we also eat thousands of germs in our foods, different foods, you know. And again, most of these die in the saliva. Thank God. The saliva is made to, it has a substance that kills germs and bacteria, you know. And so, and if the saliva don't get it, then by the time it reaches the stomach, the acid in the stomach will get it. Okay. But occasionally, however, one gets through and, you know, causes food poisoning. That's when you, you know, you start vomiting and you have diarrhea and you just don't feel good. That's food poisoning. You know something is wrong, you know. Well, there's normally a visible sign, you know, that of this breach of the immune system. Like I just said, vomiting and diarrhea are two of the most common symptoms, especially of food poisoning. So There's also all kinds of human ailments that are caused by the immune system working in unexpected or incorrect ways that cause problems. So that, I mean, our immune system, it can work against us. You know, it can work against us. So, for example, some people have allergies. I, for one, have a allergy to pollen. You know, I get the sneezing and, you know, my eyes get all red and itchy. And then I have to take you know, a little teeny tiny pill to help those symptoms. Well, allergies are really just the immune system overreacting to certain stimuli that other people don't react to at all. You know, there's a lot of people that can be outside and the pollen, you know, Florida has a lot of pollen. And a lot of people can be out there and the pollen is flying all around. You can see it. It'll coat your car real yellowish, you know. So, and you can see it laying on the grass, you know. But some people, it doesn't affect them. Doesn't affect them at all. So, some people have diabetes, which is caused by the immune system inappropriately attacking cells in the pancreas and destroying them. So, yeah, it can do that. Some people have rheumatoid arthritis, which is caused by the immune system acting inappropriately in the joints. And in many different diseases, the cause is actually an immune system error. So it doesn't mean that our immune system is necessarily trying to kill us. It might mean that we have not done what we need to do to help the immune system stay healthy. So finally, you know, we sometimes are, we sometimes see the immune system because it prevents us from doing things that would be otherwise beneficial. So, for example, organ transplants. They're much harder than they should be because the immune system often rejects the transplanted organ. Okay? Now, I've heard of people getting kidney, I don't want to say implants. Is that what it is? You know, they get kidneys from somebody else and transplant. That's what, kidney transplant. And the person's body starts shutting down and stuff because it doesn't, you know, the immune system can't accept it. So, you know, but anyway, so, okay, well, let's start at the beginning. What does it mean when someone says, I feel sick today? Have you heard people say that? And I know you said it yourself, you know, like, ugh, I just don't feel good today. I feel sick, you know. So, what's a disease? Well, by understanding the different kinds of diseases, it's possible to see what types of diseases the immune system helps you handle. That would be good to have a list of diseases that your immune system helps you handle. So, and maybe I can provide a list for you, or at least a link where you can look it up. Of course, I will definitely have a link to this information that I'm giving you now. So when you get sick, your body is not able to work properly or at its full potential and capacity. And there's many different ways for you to get sick. So let me tell you some of them. Okay, here's some of them. Well, mechanical damage. Mechanical damage. If you break a bone or tear a ligament, you will be sick. your body. Your body will be sick anyway, and it will not be able to perform at its full potential. So if you break your leg, you can't run like you could if you had not broken it. Okay, so the cause of the problem is something that is easy to understand, and it's visible. So vitamins or mineral deficiency, and that's what I was just saying, that I wasn't taking vitamins when I got cancer. I don't know. I just kind of don't like pills, and so I just didn't take them. But vitamins or mineral deficiency, and if you don't get enough vitamin D, or your body is not able to metabolize calcium properly, and you get a disease known as rickets. You ever heard of rickets? Well, people with rickets, they have weak bones and they break easily, and deformities because the bones, they don't grow properly. And if you do get enough vitamin C, you get scurvy. I mean, if you don't get enough, if you don't get enough vitamin C, you get scurvy. I know lots of foods have vitamin C in it, and orange juice and this and that. So, if you drink a lot of orange juice or eat oranges and stuff, that might help you, But taking a vitamin C pill would definitely help you better. You can even get the gummies if you don't like to swallow the pills. I know I don't like swallowing pills, so I have decided to get gummies. I take vitamin D 2000 IU because my bones has started to get weak. I know a couple years ago I took a bone density test and they said I had osteoporosis. Well, because I've been taking vitamin D and calcium and turmeric and curcumin and exercising and everything, I had a bone density test a couple days ago, and they told me today, as a matter of fact, that I do not have osteoporosis, but pre-osteoporosis, and to keep taking the vitamin D and the calcium, I have to have at least 1,200 milligrams of calcium, and to walk and to do my exercise, and that's going to help keep my bones healthy. And I'm really glad that I started that regimen. So like I said, I take gummies, and you can do the same if you don't like to swallow pills. So rickets, let's get back to rickets. Scurvy from not having enough vitamin C. It causes swollen and bleeding gums, and swollen joints and bruising. And if you don't get enough iron, you get anemia. And on and on. So you have to, get enough vitamins and balance these vitamins. And if you eat dark leafy green vegetables, I know you can get iron and different vitamins from that. But a lot of times our foods are not treated properly. They spray them with this, that, and the other, and so it would be best to actually take the vitamins themselves. Organ degradation. In some cases, an organ is damaged or weakened, and for example, one form of heart disease is caused by obstructions in the blood vessels and leading to heart muscle, so that the heart does not get enough blood. And one form of liver disease, known as cirrhosis, is caused by damage to liver cells. That's drinking too much alcohol is one cause, okay? So genetic disease. A genetic disease is caused by a coding error in the DNA. And the coding error causes too much or too little of certain proteins to be made. And that causes problems at the cellular level. So for example, albinism is caused by a lack of enzyme called tyrosinase. And that missing enzyme means that the body cannot manufacture melanin. Melanin is what gives us our skin color. That's the natural pigment, that causes hair color, eye color, and tanning. Now, because of the lack of melanin, people with the genetic problem are they're extremely sensitive to UV rays in the sunlight. And so they have to cover up, and all that. And speaking of skin, I have this psoriasis of the skin. I am starting to go now to a dermatologist, and they'll be testing me and trying to find out what's causing this dermatitis and psoriasis. I don't know. I'm not sure if it's psoriasis or eczema, but it's dermatitis, and that's when you have a skin problem. So, my skin gets real dry, like somebody is squeezing me or something, and it'll get flaky and turn real dark. My chest area, and my neck area, just flaky and dry and dark. And that's because something is going wrong in my immune system. So hopefully, by me taking these vitamins and everything, and along with whatever the dermatologist recommend, will get rid of this problem. Get rid of this problem. So actually, what was it, yesterday? I think it was yesterday, a day before yesterday was the first day that I actually put on some makeup in, oh God, I don't know, maybe a month, So anyway, cancer. Now, occasionally a cell it'll change in a way that causes it to reproduce uncontrollably. And if you watched any of my earlier videos when I first started talking about cancer, that's what cancer is. It's like we have these cells in our body, and we need them, and pretty much you could say that we're born with cancer cells. But what happens is the cells, they start to multiply, and they just keep growing and growing and growing and growing and growing, and then before you know it, you got billions of these cells, and it just turns into cancer. So for example, when cells in the skin called melanocytes are damaged by ultraviolet radiation in the sunlight, they change in a characteristic way into a cancerous form of cell. The visible cancer that appears as a tumor on the skin is called melanoma. Have you heard of that? Melanoma. And when a virus or bacteria, also known genetically as a germ, invades your body and reproduces, it normally causes problems. And generally, the germ's presence produces some side effects that makes you sick. So, for example, the strep throat bacteria is called Streptococcus, and it releases a toxin that causes inflammation in your throat. Your throat gets all red and sore, and incidentally, strep throat is contagious. So if you got it, and whoever is around you, especially close around you, they're gonna get it, So you have to make sure that you wash your hands and not hug and kiss and things like that when you have this strep throat. Now the polio virus, it releases toxins that destroy nerve cells, often leading to paralysis. I know you've seen, it's not as prevalent these days, but years ago I can remember seeing kids with the little iron thing on their legs, from across the hip and across the fat of the calf, and the ankle, and they often walk with the cane. Have you seen that? I've seen it in both, seen kids with both legs that way, and I've seen them with one. But nowadays you don't really see it that much. But that germ that destroys the nerves, turns into polio. Now some bacteria be benign or beneficial. For example, we all have millions of bacteria in our intestines, and they help digest the food, So it's like, you ever heard of like no, not tapeworms, but you know how snails and things go around and clean the fish tank? You know, that thing you put in there to clean the fish tank? Well, that's what some of the germs that are in our intestines, that's what they do. They skirt up and down the intestines, and they eat and kill the germs and bacteria that our bodies don't need. But many are harmful, and once they get into the body or the bloodstream, you know, they wreak havoc. So viral and bacteria infections are by far the most common causes of illnesses for most people. Viruses and bacteria, and that's usually what causes cancer, is viruses and bacteria. And they cause things like colds and influenza, measles and mumps and malaria, AIDS, and so on. And so the job of your immune system is to protect your body from these infections. You know, praise God that we have an immune system, because we would just be through. You know, no telling. Most people wouldn't even live long without an immune system. You wouldn't even grow to age, you know, because your body was shut down and you die. So the immune system, it protects us in 3 different ways. It creates a barrier that prevents bacteria and viruses from entering our bodies. And if a bacteria or a virus does get inside our body, the immune system tries to detect it and eliminate it before it can make itself at home and reproduce and wreak havoc. Okay, now if the virus or the bacteria is able to reproduce and start causing problems, your immune system is in charge of eliminating it. And the immune system also has several other important jobs. For example, your immune system can detect cancer in early stages and eliminate it in many cases. Yes, in many cases, I think that my case was one of them. They found it early, you know. And I'm so happy and thankful for that. So, you know, bacteria, we're not going to spend a lot of time on bacteria because I've already gone into 30 minutes and I still have the song to play for you all. But bacteria and viruses, I'm going to give you the link so you can look it up. Oh, God, you would just be surprised to learn about some of the stuff that goes along with learning about bacteria and viruses. Our body is multicellular organisms, and it's made up of perhaps 100 trillion cells. Not million, not billion, but trillion of cells, okay? And the cells in our body are fairly complicated machines. And each one has a nucleus, energy, production, equipment, and etc. So bacteria, they're single cell organisms and that are much simpler. Okay, for example, they have no nucleus. Bacteria has no nucleus. And they are perhaps 1/100th the size of a human cell, and they might measure like 1 micrometer long. Bacteria, they're completely independent organisms, and they're able to eat and reproduce. So they're sort of like fish swimming in the ocean of your body, and under the right conditions, bacteria reproduce very quickly. So one bacteria divides into 2 separate bacteria, perhaps once every 20 to 30 minutes. And at that rate, one bacteria can become millions in just a few hours. So, you know, thank God for the immune system, because that bacteria a lot of times is a good bacteria, you know, that helps fight off all the rest of the germs. So, but a virus is a different breed altogether. A virus is not really alive, okay? It's a virus particle is nothing but a fragment of DNA in protective coat, you might say. And the virus comes in contact with the cell. And it attaches itself to the cell wall and injects its DNA and perhaps a few enzymes, okay, so into the cell. Now the DNA uses the machinery inside the living cell to reproduce new virus particles. Eventually the hijacked cell dies and bursts, freeing the new virus particles. It's like, say, when something is in a cocoon, growing and growing, and then it finally breaks out, you know, bursts out. So if the it frees that virus particles, and or the viral particle may bud off of the cell, so it remains alive. In either case, the cell is a factory for the virus. So my last thought for you is to make sure that you find some good vitamins and start taking them. So because you want to keep your immune system healthy, because your immune system keeps you healthy. And so on that note, that concludes my show for today. And as a reminder, you have been watching On the Tube with Ely. So please like, subscribe, and share. Somebody out there needs to hear this information. God bless. So thoughtful and kind, he's blowing my mind, blowing my mind, blowing my mind. Yes, he is. Oh, yes, he is, blowing my mind. He's everything. I said to me, so much joy.